Hello and welcome to Bharat Blossoms. In our science and technology module, this is lecture number 1D, in which we'll be talking about different types of satellites. So let's move forward. Our first kind of satellite is Earth observation satellites. As the name suggests, these satellites are used for taking images, resource monitoring, weather information, gathering information related to cartography, identifying agroclimatic zone. What is cartography? Cartography means mapping. The Earth observation satellites are generally placed in low Earth orbits. What are low Earth orbits? We have already discussed this in our lecture, that is types of orbits. Low Earth orbits are up to height of 1000 kilometers. Here, Earth observation satellites are placed in the height of 600 to 900 meters. The orbit of satellite is also known as sun synchronous orbit. These all terminologies we have already discussed in our previous lectures. If you haven't watched that, do watch that. The links are pinned in the description. These satellites can cover the whole surface of the Earth after multiple revolutions. See, what is the use of Earth observation satellite? It is mostly used for remote sensing. There are different kinds of satellites which is used for remote sensing, that is OceanSat, ResourceSat, Cartosat. Now, another important question is what remote sensing actually is. So, remote sensing is a technique which is used for acquiring information about object on Earth's surface without physically coming into contact with them. Remote sensing is of two types: optical remote sensing and microwave remote sensing. The optical remote sensing works on use of reflected sunlight. See this diagram. This is a satellite. So it gets energy from mainly two sources. One is direct from sun, other which is the reflected sunlight or the radiation of the sun. This satellite then processes the signals and sends it to the processing station which is located on the ground. The processing station sends it to the person analyzing the data, and from this it goes into the application into which it is being used. What are the features of remote sensing satellite? First, it is a no contact satellite. Second, it has a very large scale coverage. And another one is it is cost effective. So let's see, Indian remote sensing satellites are used for general purpose. We have a dedicated satellite, that is OceanSat, ResourceSat, Cartosat. So what are these OceanSat, ResourceSat and Cartosat? OceanSat is the Indian satellite which is primarily built for ocean applications. ResourceSat will provide micro and macro information on farmland, crop volume, forest, mineral deposits, and coastal information. Cartosat is used for Earth resource management, defense services, and monitoring. The another kind of remote sensing satellite is microwave satellite, which does not require sunlight and it can work 24/7 all weather. The best example is RISAT, radar imaging satellite. It was bought from Israel. RISAT 2 was bought from Israel and launched in 2008, whereas RISAT 1 is indigenously developed and is launched in 2012. Remember, here numbering is not in order. The second, RISAT 2 was launched first and RISAT 1 was launched later. RISAT 1 is indigenous, RISAT 2 is from Israel. It is a radar imaging Earth observation satellite which provides services in the field of, here I am writing, agriculture, forestry, and best thing is disaster management. So I hope what are remote sensing satellites and what are their uses has been clear. There are also some limitations of remote sensing satellite. Let us discuss. And I have not mentioned it because I wanted to tell you that separately. The first one is atmospheric interference. You can note down these things. Atmospheric interference. Second one is weather dependency, as it is dependent on sunlight. Another one is calibration and validation. Third one is data processing and interpretation, because remote sensing data requires a specialized skills, demand efficient processing pipelines, and expert analysis, which we currently lack. So see, from this topic what I have done, I've also integrated the previous year questions topic wise just after a topic is completed. So let's see what are the questions have been asked on remote sensing. In which of the following activities Indian remote sensing satellites are used? Assessment of crop productivity, locating groundwater resources, mineral exploration, telecommunication, traffic studies. So we have studied everything about remote sensing satellite. Do mention it in the comment box. What are your answers? And I'll reply with the correct answer. Another question was asked. See, this is how PYQ analysis helps. If you have solved this in 2015, you could have easily solved this question in 2019. For the management, estimation of which of the following are the satellite's image remote sensing data used. Exactly same question was repeated. Chlorophyll content in vegetation, greenhouse gas emission, land surface temperature. Just the language of the options have been changed. So I hope you will be able to solve on both of these questions. Let's move forward. Another remote sensing satellites in Earth, another Earth observation satellite is GISAT. It is the most recent one in geostationary orbit. After these are also the names of Earth observation satellites: Kalpana 1, INSAT, INSAT 3DR. It is used for developing solar calculator by ISRO. See, the solar calculator is very important. It is in the current news and it can be asked in exam. So what is solar calculator? By name calculator, you must be thinking that it is doing some mathematical calculation. So actually it is doing some calculation, but let us see what it is actually doing. ISRO will be providing solar calculator to OSOWOC. What is OSOWOC? It is one sun, one world, and one grid. This is the topic of IR in which we are developing one grid for the entire world, that is from currently it is being developed from Southeast Asia to Europe, in which all the grids of all the countries and solars will be connected. ISRO will be providing to us, so it will be used for calculating solar potential of any place using satellite data. So if you want to calculate that what is the solar potential above India, so ISRO will give you a map like this. See, you just have to enter the latitude and the longitude of any place of whose solar potential you want to find, and it will generate a graph like this, telling you that what is the solar potential of that place. Now, another thing which is important, and this is also in news, because it is in news since last 2 3 years, and in UPPCS 2023, sorry 2020, yes 2023, a direct question was asked that what is NISAR. So hence it can come in UPSC also in some time. See, the name gives hint. NISAR is developed by NASA and ISRO. It will be launched in 2024. So it is being launched this year also, this year only, hence it is important. What is NISAR? It consists of L and S band synthetic aperture radar instrument, which makes it dual frequency imaging radar satellite. The important thing is that what components are being provided by ISRO and what are being provided by NASA. So let's see, what is NASA providing? NASA is providing L-band radar, GPS, high capacity solid state recorder to store data, and payload system. These two statements can directly come in the question that ISRO is providing this and NASA is providing this. What they can do, they can interchange these two options. So you have to remember what ISRO is providing and what NASA is providing. And ISRO is providing S-band radar, GSLV launch vehicle, and spacecraft. Just remember that it will be launched by GSLV, not any NASA's vehicle. NASA is providing different things. It will be a spot warning sign of natural disaster. It is mainly for disaster management. It will be used for studying volcanic eruptions, earthquake, landslides. The satellite will also measure groundwater levels, track flow rates of glacier, ice sheets, monitor planet forest agriculture, and improve our understanding of carbon exchange. So it is working in fields of both, that is disaster management and environment. See now how you can connect it with this IR. India has launched coalition for disaster risk reduction. So in this, India can use this R satellite and help other countries in disaster management. So we have studied about Earth observation satellite. We have also covered what are in the current affairs. Two things are in the current affairs regarding Earth observation satellite, that is NISAR and solar calculator. Now moving on to another satellite, that is communication satellites. See, communication satellites, there are two types. One is placed in low Earth orbit and another one is placed in geostationary orbit. In the low Earth orbits or the polar orbits, in polar orbits, more number of satellites are required in comparison to geostationary orbit, but here latency is less. So why we prefer polar orbit? Because of low latency. Latency means the lag which you get while watching anything. To push Industry 4.0, companies like SpaceX, OneWeb have taken multiple initiatives. They have launched multiple satellites for their space-based internet program. It will boost digital economy, smart cities, inclusive growth. Another one is satellite in geostationary Earth orbit. See, in low Earth orbit, it is mostly used for internet and mobile connections. In geostationary satellite, its main function is DTH connectivity. So a question can come that mobile internet services, the communication satellites are placed in geostationary orbit. So the statement will be wrong. Here, most important part is transponder. It works in particular range of frequency and has four types. These are the bands in which the satellite works: S band, K band, KU band, KA band, and each one has different frequencies. This is used in 5G technology. See how the DTH connection works. This is the dish antenna which is placed on the terrace of your home. You must have seen that they adjust it by rotating in and then checking. So what they actually check is that how it is receiving signal from the communication satellite in geostationary Earth orbit. See, these are the terminals. and it is downlink and uplink. After communication satellite, we move to navigation satellite. As the name suggests, it is used for navigation. It is not a single satellite, but it is a constellation of satellites. Means it's a combination of many satellites which work in tandem to provide a particular exact location of a place. It's a constellation of satellite that works on the principle of triangulation. It has multifold applications like military, telecommunications, search rescue, navigation, and meteorological services. See, this question came in prelims 2023 only, that which of the following countries has its own satellite system. So here I have given you entire, this was in my notes only, hence this question was very easy for me, that Japan has its own satellite system. Even I remember the name in exam, that it is called Quasi Zenith. I have taken this image directly from my notes only. See which countries have China, Europe, USA, Russia, India, and Japan. And now you also have to remember that how which navigation system has how many satellites. If you can't remember all, you must have to remember it for India. That India has 7 satellites, and in future they can ask, means what is the order of which has the maximum satellites in navigation system. So we'll not be looking at all. We'll be looking about India, that is IRNSS. So let's look how Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System works. It is also known as NAVIC. It was launched in 2006. So this is how NAVIC looks. This is our India, and 7 satellites. See, just focus how 7 satellites are placed. 4 satellites are placed in geosynchronous orbit, and they move in this fashion. And 3 satellites are placed linearly here, here, and here. See, I have also written it. Out of 7, 3 satellites are placed in geostationary orbit, while 4 satellites are placed in geosynchronous orbits. Apologies that I have mentioned this as geostationary. This is geosynchronous, these 4 satellites, and these 3 are geostationary. And we also have two satellites which are on standby, that if any satellite stops working, so it can be replaced. See what just like GPS covers the entire Earth, our IRNSS has a limited coverage. It covers this area, that is Indian mainland, and this area, Indian mainland, and 1500 kilometers from both sides. And what is the coverage? IRNS extended coverage area. Here accuracy is greater than 20 meters, and over Indian subcontinent accuracy is less than 20 meters. It is the only navigation satellite in the world which uses L5 and S band frequency to avoid disruption of services. The Government of India has asked mobile manufacturers to come up with IRNSS compatible devices by 2023 as globally devices found on L band. Currently, all our phones has GPS system. GPS works on L1 band, but IRNSS works on L5 and S band. So currently, all our mobile devices in India are not compatible for NAVIC. Hence, the government has asked all the mobile manufacturers to make it compatible by incorporating L5 and S band. It will provide accuracy of 10 meter over Indian landmass and 20 meter in adjoining areas. It has two kinds of services. One is general service, which is for general public, and another is restricted service, which is only for armed forces. What can be the uses of IRNSS in our border management? We have hostile neighbors on both eastern and western front of our borders, disaster management, space diplomacy, boost to startups working, provide navigation services. See, question on IRNSS has already been asked. Let us see the question. With reference to Indian Regional Navigation Satellite, IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary and 4 satellites in geosynchronous orbits. We have already seen this statement previously, that how it's work. IRNSS covers entire India and about 55 square kilometers beyond its border. India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage. Does it has full global coverage? No, it has a limited global coverage. So statement 3 is wrong. About 55 square kilometer. Tell me this. I've already mentioned the value. Is this statement correct or not? Mention the answer in the comment box. So this concludes our lecture on satellite system. It has been a long lecture because it was a very detailed topic. Our next lecture is different types of space mission. In this, we'll be starting with Gaganyaan. I'm not starting with Mangalyaan or Chandrayaan. Reason is that Gaganyaan is recently in use, and the probability of question coming from Gaganyaan are high. So I'll also be dealing Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, but our order will be Gaganyaan, then Chandrayaan 3, and then rest of the space missions. Thank you. See you in next lecture. Stay tuned to Bharat Blossoms. Jai Hind.